I was in a Permobil before I started working for the company. I lived in Nashville. And one day I was having some trouble with my chair. And instead of going to my provider, my dealer, I said, well, I'm going to go to the manufacturer. I just heard that they moved from Boston down to Nashville. So I went in and I spoke to a few individuals and ended up being the president of the company. And we got to talking, and he was looking for a government affairs person, a lobbyist of sorts. And that's what I do. That was my living. And it was a nice match. And I've been with Permobil for about 8 years now.
I always come to the Ability Expo every year.
It's important for Permobil to be at the Abilities Expo for several reasons. One, we want to connect with the consumer. We want to connect with those individuals not only that have our chair, but those that are looking at maybe purchasing one of our chairs. So they come and we can show them new product, but also if they're in our product, they can come and they can get their chair worked over, maybe put a new part. But it's very important for us to connect with the consumer, and that's why we're here. Our U.S. headquarters is in Nashville. We're in 19 countries, and we're growing every day, but we'll always have the philosophy of treating the end user first, and if we do that, we're going to be okay.
Both the 300 and 350 have roughly a 2 3/4 or 3-inch ground clearance. We don't recommend that people plow through puddles, but if you need to, wade your way through a 3-inch puddle, that's not an issue for us. Electronics are shrouded. But again, if you hit a puddle, you need to respect the equipment, slow it down a little bit so you aren't creating a wave that's going to wash up into your electronics. It comes in a variety of colors. Red, blue, and black have always been the most popular, but we have silvers and yellows depending on the chair. What's really nice about the shrouds that we use is they can easily be taken off the chair, so you have access to the frame for modifications or adjustments and so on. But people have taken those off, taken them down to local shops, airbrushed them to whatever they need. So I've actually seen themes that were a Star Wars theme and sports team themes and so on. So very easy to customize. It's actually less expensive to do it locally by somebody that can do the airbrush the way you want it than to have a manufacturer have it done for you. The chairs are designed to be able to climb a 3-inch curb. The front-wheel drive version has forward stabilizers on it with a little wheel. Those can be adjusted up and down in height. It also has suspension on that so that if you do hit, say, a 3-inch curb, it's going to be able to raise up to let that drive tire bite and grip and climb up and over the obstacle. I have a tendency to recommend front-wheel drive for people that are going to be going over rough terrain. The larger the drive wheel, the smaller the obstacle, and so it pulls up and over obstacles quite a bit easier. And so rather than jostling the user in the chair takes quite a bit more of the jostling rather than the user. No matter what your turning radius is, it's how can you maneuver around those obstacles, and a front-wheel drive will maneuver around obstacles a lot easier than a rear or mid-wheel drive. You can get Bluetooth capabilities on both of these chairs if I wanted environmental controls, ECU units and so on. Our Omni, if somebody orders the Omni, which is for our specialty electronics, it comes standard with the capability to operate your TV and answer your phones and all that kind of stuff. Well, the latest in electronics from P&G Electronics, it has, I could say it's almost an anti-rollback feature. If you're going up a hill and you let off the electronics, up until recently your chair would then start to roll back till the lock's locked in place. Now it kind of holds it a little bit better on the hill so it doesn't roll back. There's also a feature on the newer electronics that if let's say you have it programmed so that when you let off the joystick at full speed, it's going to stop in 5 feet. That's how you have the chair programmed. It's a 2-stage dynamic braking system. One where the electronics no longer go to the motor starts to slow. The second is a timer that clicks onto that brake. If you pull the joystick back, as an example, you're going to go right across the street, the light turns yellow, you change your mind, you pull that joystick back and it will stop in 2.5 feet, or half the speed or half the braking distance that you have by pulling that back. And that's all programmed into the new style electronics. Good torque on the motors. Torque is also something that can be programmed into the chair. The joysticks, there's a multitude of different knobs available from us and also available from companies like Body Point. So if I needed a T-handle to rest my hand on, or any kind of aftermarket specialty controls, if I had something where say I have muscular dystrophy and I have good use of one finger, I can use a dip cup. So I put my hand down in there, it's a proximity switch, and all I have to do is move one finger. All the way down to a little tiny, it's about the size of a hummingbird, control That's a proportional joystick that I can use with the finger off the end of the joystick. I can use it as a chin control, lip control, mount it to the center of a tray, so if I have the ability to just operate my thumb. So there's a number of different options. Any way you want to drive a power wheelchair today, just about every manufacturer can make that work. In the old days, if your system got hot, then it would essentially fry your electronics. Today, when the systems start to overheat, at least this is with the P&G electronics that we use and a number of manufacturers use, it will go into a kind of a shutdown mode where it'll take you down to half speed so that you don't fry your electronics when they start to get overheated. It just goes into a rollback. So you still have the capability to get to where you're going without shutting the whole chair down, but it's a safety feature. We use our own seating electronics. So you've got the P&G system, but it ties into Permobil's electronics to do your tilt, recline, seat elevator, and so on. The C300 and C350, it's a 1-year warranty on electronics and motors. I think what makes Permobil unique is that we manufacture a chair more focused on the human body and the maneuverability both indoors and outdoors.
Permobil C300 and C350. Transportation provided by the Braun Intervan. www.braunability.com. Brought to you by the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation and Gold Pictures. Filmed on location at Universal Studios, California.